Some of us might not have had it yet, but at some point in our lives, most of us probably have had that calling that there is something more. There is something else. I can feel it inside of me that there is something calling to me that I want to do and that I need to do. What if I told you that you have extraordinary, one-of-a-kind gifts just waiting to be uncovered? I'm Claire Kellums, psychic medium, intuitive guide, and animal communicator, and I'm here to share my personal journey of spiritual growth and healing in the hope that my true lived experiences will ignite something inside you, empowering you to embrace your truest, most aligned self. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into all things spiritual development, manifestation, breaking generational cycles, aligning your life with limitless abundance, and so much more. I am beyond excited to go on this transformative journey with you and witness your growth as you expand into the person you were always destined to be. I wasn't put on this earth to play small, and neither were you. Are you ready? Let's get aligned. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. My name is Claire Kellums. I'm a psychic medium, intuitive guide, animal communicator, and I am so excited to finally be doing this podcast. This has been in the works and a dream of mine for quite some time now. So it feels so good to finally be putting this out there. So a little bit about myself, just for this intro here. Like I said, I'm a psychic medium, an intuitive guide, an animal communicator. I discovered I was all these things, well, over my lifetime, but mainly over the last 6 years or so. So I really wanted to create a podcast so that I may reach other like-minded individuals interested in spirituality, interested in finding their gifts and honing their gifts and discovering what their gifts and abilities might be. Maybe you do know, maybe you don't know. But this podcast is for those people who are, and those souls who are interested in going deeper into the soul, into the mind, into everything. So what I would really like to focus on in this podcast is a lot of things. So I'll be sharing my true lived experiences with you all in the hopes that you will take something from it, or you can take something and resonate from it, and you can use it in your own lives to empower, to inspire, and to help you create magic so that you may share it with the world. So I will, in this podcast, talk about how I broke generational cycles, how I healed my inner child, and how I am still healing all of those parts of me, still to this day, and always will be. How I went from extreme anxiety to healing my inner self and reliving and re-experiencing some of the things that I experienced throughout my life, and how I really came to terms with it, and how I learned to accept myself for who I was. And it took a lot. I won't lie to you. It took quite a bit, but I am here because I want to share these experiences with you in the hopes that you know you're not alone. I really feel this podcast will reach far and wide the people that it needs to reach, and I want you to know that you have someone in your corner who is absolutely rooting for you. So we'll do a deep dive into all the things, and like I said, I'm really hoping that you may take something from this podcast and realize that you have that magic too, and that you can share this magic too, and that you may take that next step, that leap of faith, and go chase your dreams and do the big things. I really want to inspire, and I really want to help people. So that is why I'm here. That's why this podcast is going to be what it is. So again, we'll talk all things spirituality, mediums, animal communicators, we'll talk all the things, but I really want to help. I really want to help people find their inner gifts and find who they feel they are meant to be, because we all have that calling. Some of us might not have had it yet, but at some point in our lives, most of us probably have had that calling that there is something more. There is something else. I can feel it inside of me that there is something calling to me that I want to do and that I need to do. And it's hard to really know what to do with that. So I am here to help guide you into finding what those gifts are and to finding your way to manifesting those gifts and bringing them into the light and really sharing with the world what your truest essence and truest form is. And I'm just really excited to be doing that with you all. I got a little bit ahead of myself there, so I'm going to back up and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself. So at the time that I'm recording this, it is March 22nd, 2025. I am 27 years old. I have a beautiful son named August. He is the light of my life. And I have just an amazing husband named Kane. He is absolutely my rock. I love him to pieces. We are absolutely best friends. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I have him as my life partner through this life. He is so incredibly supportive of me, even though he might not fully understand and might not fully have come to terms yet with my spirituality and my mediumship abilities, but he is so incredibly supportive and so willing to learn and to help. And I'm so incredibly grateful for him. Right now, we have horses, we have chickens, dogs, cats. I have always loved animals, and we've always had quite a few of them, if I'm being honest. It's a huge part of who I am, and it was really early on in my childhood. So my grandparents, my grandpa has a barn, and he used to have horses, and we'd have llamas and sheep and goats and cats and dogs. We had a lot of animals, but it was with the horses really on in my childhood that I really felt this deep connection to, and I didn't know at the time what that was. And it was really hard for me to explain to people what that feeling was. So I really didn't tell anyone. But when I would be around the horses, it was such a sense of connection and community. I really felt like I was connecting with these horses in a way that I didn't know how to explain. And I didn't know until much later on that I really was connecting with them. So, I would start picking up on emotions and feelings, and, it was little things here and there. I think a lot of people think that mediumship and communication with animals and spirituality in general are these big, huge miracles and magical things happening 24/7. And it's really not. It's honestly, it does happen. Those big magical things do happen, and they're beautiful when they happen. But it really is the subtle little moments, those little validations that happen day to day that go overlooked so much. And so I started noticing really early on that I could really tell when a specific horse wanted a specific thing or needed more of something or needed something different, or they didn't like their saddle, how it fit. There were little things where I didn't know that I was listening to them. I just knew that's what they needed. And it would be like totally like random things. Like one day I'd be like, oh, we have a horse named Angel. She's my, I know her name is very fitting, but she is my childhood horse, and I've had her since I was around 11, I think. So, I really connected with her on a really deep soul level, and it would just be little things. I would just be like, oh, Angel needs this today. And like, I didn't know how I knew it. I just knew it. Come to find out that when I do mediumship and when I communicate, my claircognizance is really strong. So that sense of knowing, a lot of things and a lot of messages come to me as just a sense of knowing. I will literally just know that XYZ. And I don't know how else to explain it. It's just right there in my head. It's like a thought that I had but it's just a sense of knowingness. But we'll get more into the clairs and all the things later on into the show. But anyway, it was really with the horses. And so I've had horses, my entire life, like literally when I could walk to 27 years old. We've got 5 of them out in the pasture right now, and I love them all so much. And animals are just a huge part of my life, and they're a huge part of what I do. So with that being said, I will start to close out this episode. Again, I just wanted to say thank you all for listening and for coming on and sharing and downloading and interacting with this podcast, because it allows me to reach more light workers, more souls, more people who are interested and who are really wanting to tap into those inner abilities and to share their own light with the world. Because let's be completely honest here, it's so freaking scary. It is so freaking scary. I'm literally recording this. I can't tell you how many times I have recorded this intro. This is no joke, probably the 200th time. I am not exaggerating. The intro to the podcast, I probably did 300 times. I'm a Virgo, so I have to do things over and over and over. And I'm trying to learn that it's okay not to do that, but I'll record an episode and I'll be like, I breathed way too hard right there. I have to delete the whole thing. So I'm really trying not to do that. So I'm trying to come through as more of my authentic self, because that's how I'm going to reach people. And that's how we as a community, as a collective, as the human being, that's how we connect, is through our most authentic, truest self. So again, thank you so much. I am so appreciative that you are here with me today, and I'm so excited for this journey that we're going to go on together. So please let me know if you have any suggestions for topics, anything you would like covered, any questions you would like answered, anything at all. I will see you next time. Did you love this episode of the Ultra Aligned podcast? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could leave a glowing review and 5 stars. Your support helps this podcast reach even more people who are ready to step into their light. Have questions or suggestions for topics you'd like me to dive into? I'd love to hear from you. Just shoot me an email at theultraalignedpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for sharing. I love you all. I'll see you next time on the Ultra Aligned podcast.